Boat Marina. Now, Paul and I used to do these TV shows down there. And we could set that thing up. It looked like it was a great big place. It was a camera place that camera out in the right background and a whole scene changes. That thing looks like it was huge, which it wasn't. It was in West of Mud Boat Marina. I saw it down there somewhere. I don't want to tell them where it was because I'll be inundated with people. I don't mind people come up and say hello to me, which they do quite often. And it just says, you don't want thousands of them hitting the deck at the same time. But we had fun at that Mud Boat Marina. Not like a boathouse in the backyard, 2 docks on either side. This is all we built. This thing. This wasn't put together by a big company or something like that. It just developed. But it's been very nice, and it's been handy for us. I'm trying to tell you have to pay taxes on all those things. I hate taxes. It's not unnecessary. Boy, it goes to somebody's pocket. And I don't want to get political about this. My wife is a politician. Oh, is she political? If you were a Democrat, you'd come into this house, wear a helmet. Me, I don't care what you are. I don't vote. I have nothing to do with it. Incidentally, I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I'm going to tell you that. That's one of the reasons why I don't vote. That's one of the reasons why I'm still pretty happy.
What was it like when you first came here in the hall, the main hall, or where did you have to go?
Well, when we first moved here, there was only one Jehovah's Witness in the whole town. And that was a Greek lady down in Myrtle Beach, and she owned a little motel called Motel by the Sea, or on the sea. And she was so glad to see us come down there, because now I'm going back into the 50s here. Yeah, about 53, I forget, it was right after Hazel. And we could down, we would, as our congregation kept growing and growing, we kept moving from place to place. How about we moved into the basement of the library downtown one time? What a mess that place was. We cleaned it up, made it real neat. And finally somebody got aggravated, said, we can't have that happen down there. So they made us get out. Then the place got sloppy again. Nobody ever kept it clean. We moved from there to some other place and so on. And finally, we had enough funds to build a hall. And now that hall is too small for the congregation. They're looking for another place now to read. Now, in the meantime, we put another hall up down here near in Murrells Inlet. We have 2 congregations there now. In the meantime, we're looking for another hall because we've outgrown our congregation. Jehovah's Witnesses are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And pretty soon it's going to be enormous.
What was it like in the 50s? I mean, it was a lot of controversy for you to be the kind of writing that you did that had, sexual content.
Well, it wasn't sexual. It wasn't. It was. I was writing things that were. I don't think I came out of a war situation, and we were different people at that time. We hadn't mellowed out. You're young and nasty, and you're still fighting man at what happened. You have different viewpoints of things. When I came out of service, I was 28 years old, I think. And, I had 3.5 years in the military there. And this wartime does things to you. It's just like how the people, when 9/11 happened in New York, and those planes hit one of the trade towers, overnight, people's minds changed. The whole mindset was like that. All of a sudden they became aware, acutely aware of what's happening in the world. They were looking now at the Muslims, and all of a sudden a new hatred developed for people. Everything gets changed around like that quickly. Well, we had this attitude coming out of service that we were living in a tent. I wrote my first book to get $1,000. And the reason was, my buddy George Wilson and I, who's a good, well-known artist now, he's up in New York State now. We wanted to live in a tent and build a house because we had no place to live. So I got the $1,000 right at jury, which was the highest they'd ever paid. I could give you an advance of $1,000 bucks. Up to them, they were only giving $250 advance for mystery stories. I got the $1,000. When George had his $1,000, we bought this acreage up there in Newburgh, New York, and then we put the tent up, a World War I tent that George owned, his dad owned, as a matter of fact. And we lived in that and built a house. My house is still there. And that was the sort of happiest days of my life, living in that tent. We saw snow before we got out of that tent, for Pete's sake. It was great. But that was the beginning of things. We established a thing we had right there. That was the beginning of everything. We didn't owe a nickel on it. George later moved out, and I bought his half of the house out. And when he went out and did his thing, wherever he went to, because now we're back together again, we had a good time. And from there, things developed slowly, little by little. And today I sit in a position I like to be in. I don't owe a nickel. I don't have much either. I own a Carolina Cadillac, which is a Ford pickup truck. Got a Jaguar too that John Wayne gave me. And I'm giving that to my son who's a mechanic. So I give it back to myself because somebody's there to take good care of that car. That's an inheritance factor for him. And there's nothing you want. I don't want anything. Well, I got what I need. I got a pair of shoes, got a shirt, got a boat out there on the trailer, got a truck downstairs.
Did you get the Jag here in Murrells Inlet?
The Jag? No, I got that up in Newburgh, New York. Oh, look. I got that Jag. John Wayne never saw this car. He gave it to me as a Hollywood thank you card. I woke up, I had rewritten a movie that he had put out. He wasn't in it, called Ring of Fear. And the picture was pretty bad. And they couldn't get a writer out in Hollywood that wanted to mess with a picture that's already been said it was, hey, this is bad, stay away from that. They asked me, because I was in a movie. I was playing my own self in a picture. And they came and said, look, could you write a script? I said, yeah, sure, why? He said, well, can you do it? Now, I knew where every bad piece of writing was in that thing, because I was looking at this, because it is terrible. So I went out to California, and they expected this to take 3 or 4 months to rewrite. And I got out there on Wednesday. I worked Thursday, Friday. No, I got there Thursday. I wrote Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And on Sunday afternoon, at 1 o'clock, this fella came in, a big director out there now, and he said, how you doing, Mickey? I said, fine, I'm finished. He thought I was finished for the day's work. He said, well, that's nice. He says, how long do you think it'll take you to finish that script? And I said, I told him I'm finished. He said, what do you mean you're finished? I said, I'm done with it. Here it is. And he looked at it, he picked it up and looked at the script and said, wow, wow, wow. Man, he picked it, he called Duke, and he called a couple of the other people in the producer, Bob Fellows, and he said, he's done it. Anyway, it was wow. So here I'm staying at the Beverly Hills Hotel with all expenses paid, anything I want. And they went out to get the circus together, put it back, they could call Clyde Beatty, get everything set up again. And I'm sitting out there in Hollywood, I got not a darn thing to do. Don't think Hollywood is what you think it is. But believe me, Hollywood is dull. You're looking for work, you're out looking, that's driving you nuts. If you are working, you don't know where to go. And I'm not a drinker, I'm not a golfer, I'm not a Hollywood type, believe me. So anyway, they go looking all over for me. I went home, I went back to Newburgh. And about 2 weeks later, they were trying to they got everybody together at the time, they couldn't find me. They searched up to some of the scroungiest places you ever saw in Hollywood trying to find me, and I wasn't there. And finally a bellboy told us, no, he moved out here a long time ago. He went back to the East Coast. Now they knew where it was, back in Newburgh, in my place there. And anyway, the picture was a success. Duke got all his money back, and everything worked out fine. And they wanted to pay me. I wouldn't take any money for doing it. I didn't need any money. I'm living in a pretty primitive situation up there, which I loved, but it was primitive, very primitive according to Hollywood standards. But they knew I was always looking in the windows of this place right next to the old Cock and Bull restaurant out there in Sunset Boulevard, where they had Jaguars. That place is still there. And they decided to send me a Jaguar. Now that Jaguar cost $5,500, which was $1,000 more expensive than the biggest Cadillac they had in the market. Now what can you get today for $5,500? I'll get junk, nothing. Now my Jaguar's still downstairs under the house here. I don't know why it's waiting. My son is working on it, but it's run beautifully. Needs a little bit of body work. But it could be worth an awful lot of money probably if you want to sell it to these collectors. It's got 2 names on it now. It's John Wayne gave it to Mickey Spillane. Seems to improve the price, but car isn't for sale, people. That's not for sale at all. That's our toy. I won't sell you my teddy bear either. I still got that. What do you want to know, Paul?